What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Unleash Potential podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Haji, as always, alongside Mr. Jabbar, Mr. Hassan, and Mster Albi.
What up, man?
Back
What's
for
going
season
on?
2,
What's up?
new year, 2019. How you guys doing, man? How you guys doing? How's your 2018 finish?
It was good, man. Surprisingly, yeah, it was really good.
How did you start 2019 as well? It's February, man.
Oh man,
Where did January go?
it's gone. Mid-January, I was still like before mid-January hit, I was still overseas. So I was
Traveling.
traveling, enjoying it.
You left in December, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
For about 3-4 weeks.
What have these brothers been doing? You guys going on a trip too?
Nah, I've been working.
What trips were
I've been working. You guys talking about holidays?
Hey, did you not hear the saying, man? All work, no play makes Jack a dull boy?
I've heard that, man.
Jack a
but-
dog boy, what?
Dull boy.
I look down to you, mate.
You look very dull, brother. You're not as happy as you always be.
Nah,
It's the energy.
I'm peaking, mate. I'm peaking.
So you guys been working through the whole Christmas
Yeah.
break?
Yeah, it's the time to make
Pretty
the
much,
most
Did
money.
you at least do anything for New Year's?
No, I worked for New Year's.
I was working on these as well.
Oh man.
Where were
Alhamdulillah.
you with New Year's?
New Year's.
Yeah, it was
New Year's,
really
I was
good.
in New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Oh,
Because you know, straight after your wedding,
Yeah.
we went down to Sydney for about 2 days.
Mm.
Stayed there,
Mm.
and I got to see my granddad, and my daughter as well got to see her.
Oh,
And
your granddad.
My granddad. So it
That's
was
her great
her
granddad.
granddad. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
4
heavy, man.
generations,
Yeah,
one
I know,
hit.
I know.
MashaAllah.
And my grandma too. You know.
Oh,
So,
yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Got to see both of them.
Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah.
Yeah. Yeah. So spent 2 days with them, catching up
In
you
Sydney?
know, in Sydney, yeah, in Sydney.
Habib, you've been the most recent in Sydney. How's Sydney? How's it all been? Still the same?
Still
Two
the
and
same,
four,
bro.
four.
Yeah, still the same.
We had a lot of
But you love it because it's still the same.
100%.
It reminds you of the good times. If it
Tell me,
changed,
did you-
you won't
did-
remember it. Yeah.
Listen, did
that's
you
my-
go and have a Dougie burger?
No, actually.
Disappointed.
Keep in mind, like I
that's
only had 2 days.
disappointing.
2 days,
it was
exactly.
during a busy period.
Family.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. The one thing I don't love about it is the traffic, man. That's the one thing. I don't like the traffic.
I don't miss it till this day. Till this day.
It took us about an hour and a half to get from the airport all the way to
That's
to
standard.
the house. I know it's standard, but
Yeah.
not here.
Not here.
Oh.
Yeah,
Here, it's
so
5 minutes.
Took you
when
an
your
hour.
7 minutes.
when your standard changes, then
But it's alright when you're on holiday. You don't have anywhere to be.
I know.
Yeah.
So then 2 days after that, New Zealand?
Yeah, straight to New Zealand. Stayed there for about a week and a half, and caught up with my parents and a couple of friends, a couple of other relatives as well.
Nice.
Really good. The weather was amazing because when we left Perth, it was
Oh.
40 degrees, blazing hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Would
we
you-
get to
would-
How was it
Sydney,
there?
it's 30 degrees,
Still
Yeah.
hot.
still hot and humid. to add to
Oh,
that.
wow.
Oh man, and then we get to New Zealand, 25, 26.
Oh,
Oh,
prime
yeah.
weather.
Oh, man.
Prime weather.
Man, I loved it. My daughter loved it. In fact, my daughter was the MVP of
How was she
of
on
the
the
whole
flights
trip.
and the travel?
Bro, that's why she is
Yeah?
the MVP of that whole trip.
Quiet.
You were expecting?
Not, I don't know whether it's because of her or because my expectations were like
You were
nothing.
expecting
And,
chaos.
Yeah, expecting chaos, and when I received this, I'm like, oh, that's actually
Alhamdulillah.
all right. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
So, because she caught about 6 flights in total, so we stayed
Yeah.
in New Zealand in Auckland, right?
Yeah.
For about a week and a half, and then somehow, somewhere, it worked out that my mate ended up paying for accommodation and flights to Queenstown.
Holiday within a
Yeah,
holiday.
for an extra 2 days. So
Love those ones.
I'm telling
Queenstown.
you, man, yeah, Queenstown, it was beautiful.
Bro, that's on my bucket list. You know that.
Yeah.
It's a good day.
I never heard of Queenstown
Yeah.
until he said
So
Queenstown, bro. Remember how you mentioned it before? Remember?
yeah.
You told me about it. Queenstown, what is that, man?
So it was a total of about 6 flights.
And she soldiered through.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
How's your
MashaAllah.
trip, man?
Habib, these guys were working throughout New Year's.
Yeah.
You in New Zealand.
Yeah.
I was in Spain, Habib.
Yeah,
Just
I
left
was
Sweden,
Ooh.
having New Year's in Spain,
MashaAllah.
in Madrid.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So yeah, as you guys know, 2018 finished really well for me. Alhamdulillah, got married. And then
MashaAllah.
straight away left for a holiday. Went to Sweden, visited the family, had a surprise wedding there, and then left Sweden after a week. Went to Spain for another week, and then flew back to Sweden for 2 days, and then we flew out. So amazing.
Wow.
Couldn't have in 2018 any better. Got
MashaAllah.
married and got to travel. I mean,
I feel like we just keep rubbing it in their
Habib.
faces.
Oh, hey,
You're spending money on
Hey.
things,
Yeah.
man. That's all I know, man. You guys
Hey.
keep spending that.
what's the point of making money if you can't enjoy a little bit of it?
It's your time now to
Exactly,
enjoy it.
exactly.
Don't worry
Inshallah
about it.
soon.
That's it.
Everyone's in the
Inshallah
wrong
soon.
situation.
Any plans for? All right. Any plans for you guys to travel this year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, not really, bro.
Not really.
Nah, not really.
Working throughout this year.
I got a
Pretty
question.
much work.
Are you scared of flights?
He
Nah.
is.
Wallah, I'm
Nah,
serious. Are you
nah,
scared of
don't
flights?
start with
Let's
this now,
not
bro.
start
Come
there.
on.
Let's not start there.
Stop
25
right
years
there.
haven't left the same
Ah,
country.
right.
It's a bit of a sensitive situation.
Let's
It's
cut
not
it
a
a break.
sensitive
Let's
It's
give it a
very
break.
sensitive, Habib.
Man, don't even
Right?
start with me, bro.
Elmi doesn't want to go on a flight because he watched Lost. I thought it was a documentary. He's like, not happening.
Based on a true story too.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Nah. It's a very touchy topic.
I'm not touchy about it,
No,
bro.
Almi, you
I'm
can-
not about
listen.
Oh
I
man.
feel afraid to open my albums in front of him. You know, like my travel albums. You know, Spain, Sweden, Germany, Belgium, France.
Bro, I don't get
You
jealous.
know,
man.
I
Trust me,
can't.
bro.
No, it's
I
not
can-
jealousy. It's not
no.
jealousy. You know, the last time you traveled was what, to Sydney?
Yeah.
That's it. So
Also,
they've all
be
been
honest,
No,
I
domestic
lost-
flights?
he's never
count.
left the country. He was born here.
Yeah,
has
they're all
never left.
domestic
Yeah.
flights.
Yeah.
Places
And
you
and
can-
even then, I think it was like his first time a year ago or something. All right, we'll leave it. We'll leave
leave it
it.
there.
No,
Oh, bro.
no, but alhamdulillah, we've all finished 2018
Yeah.
with a strong vibe.
Alhamdulillah.
Holidays
Alhamdulillah.
for some of us, and alhamdulillah, grinding for the others. And for me personally, like, because I came up from such a, it was like a little mountain. You know what I mean? Like the whole wedding process, and the peak was alhamdulillah getting married and being able to travel straight away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm still riding that wave.
Still
You
on
know,
it?
I'm not crashing. You know what I mean? I'm still on that wave and continuing 2018, inshallah, with that drive. And
That's
I
good.
hope it's the same for you
Inshallah.
guys.
Yeah, of course,
Because I think
man.
it's really important if you stop a year and think, okay, this year has ended, let me start a new year,
Yeah.
new me, year's
No, you can't.
resolutions.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough. You know what I mean?
You got to be in gear 1 in December, man.
January's gone. Where did January go?
Exactly.
We're
If
in
you're on
February.
holiday, bro, half of January is gone. Like me.
Exactly.
You know, and
You
then
ca-
for you to
we
get
came
back
back
into
around what, the 10th and 14th of January?
yeah.
That's 15 days of the month gone.
How was
Exactly.
it starting back up again after a holiday?
Honestly, even during my holidays, I felt like, right, I'm ready to get
Ready.
2019 started.
Yeah.
Like there was a point in time where I was like, I'm kind of done with this holiday. Like it's not because the holiday wasn't enjoyable. It was,
I get like
but
that.
yeah,
And for me, I think it is like if a holiday exceeds over 2 months, not 2 months, sorry, 2 weeks, or around there,
yeah,
you start to feel out of control.
yeah, exactly.
I mean?
Bro,
You're
I
like-
lost track of days.
Exactly, you
I
lose
lost
track of days.
time.
You know, you're like,
Mm.
okay, like I still got bills to pay. I still got things that need to be done.
Mm.
Let me get my life back on track. You know,
Exactly.
I was waiting for that moment of quiet to come back home and be like, okay, my schedule, my routine, work tomorrow.
That moment when
You know,
when you're in control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you've made it and you're not worrying about bills and you're just, inshallah, we get to that stage. But for now, I think for me, it's just that sense of not having a schedule.
Mm,
You know, not having things to. It's good. Trust me. At the beginning, it's
Yeah.
all good.
yeah,
And I think it's towards the end when you know that those responsibilities and realities coming.
yeah,
You're just like, all right, just let it come. You know what I
exactly.
mean? I can't wait for that 2-3 days that I still have left. You're not gonna really
Exactly.
enjoy it, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
true.
2019, first video episode.
Yep.
You guys shy? Camera shy? Anybody?
Nah,
Nah,
not really.
man.
100%. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. We've got a lot of things. As we are all aware. Coming up for Unleash Potential podcast.
Yeah.
In terms of guests, in terms of game segments, in terms of the topics that we're going to be discussing. We've got a whole heap of things planned for 2019. But let's get right into the topic for today, man.
Let's go.
Marriage and expectations.
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
do
yeah. Just do
Let's
it.
ride that wave. I got married last year. I got a lot of things to say, man. I
Alright,
got a
come
lot
on,
of
man.
things to say.
I wanna hear what you gotta say.
Speak on it.
In terms
Let's
of-
go.
in
It's
terms-
still fresh in your mind. Let's go.
It's still fresh. I was speaking to one of the brothers. We all know, inshallah, he's getting married soon. And
Inshallah.
I called him up, and like the brother was trying to give me a bit of time since I'm newlywed and whatnot. You know what I mean? And I called him up and I told him, look, I know exactly what you're going through.
I've
'Cause
been through it.
It's still fresh. A lot of the brothers that I experienced, they've
They
forgotten
can't,
about
yeah.
it. They'll either take it lightly or tell you suck it up. But
Exactly.
for me, it's still fresh.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
still fresh in your
It's
mind.
like a fresh wound.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And I know, and wallah, alhamdulillah, you give advice and you try to help out as much as you can. But what our topic today is marriage, pretty much before and after. expectations versus reality. The whole wedding phase,
Yeah, yeah.
getting married, and sort of the changes that come about once you get married. You guys have been married a lot longer than me.
Yeah.
How do you guys see yourselves, or how do you look at marriage now as opposed to before you got married?
How about we ask Jabbar? Because he's the single
Okay,
person
so-
right here.
I'll tell you how
And I
my
know,
life
I
is.
know right now he's probably got a lot of expectations.
Let's kill some of them. let's
Yeah, go ahead, run through your list, and we'll tell you which one is true, which one is false, or which one potentially might happen to just you. Who knows?
Oh, so expectations for marriage?
expectations
let's
go.
for
Let's go.
marriage and the wedding stage.
Well,
and
the whole wedding stage, you gotta understand, like, it's been cuffing season the last few years, man, like years.
Since what,
It's been-
2016?
especially amongst our boys, and we're like
It's
a crew
been-
of 20, 30 people. It started with your wedding in 2016.
You know those,
Since then, it's like a domino effect,
you know those,
one
yeah,
after
you
the
know
other.
those videos where you're just
Yeah.
going around the room,
Yeah.
and other things. Like, it's just been
Yeah,
one of those.
one after
so-
the other. You know what I mean? You hear every 2 months or every 2.5 months somebody's getting married. You know, and interstate too.
Yeah.
You hear me? Because our crew is like Perth based here in West Australia and in the East Coast in New South Wales,
Yeah.
and we're just flying in and over. It's just
So that's why the whole wedding phase of
Yeah.
it, like, I know that's just gonna be like that's the control that I'm gonna have during that wedding phase. I've seen so many people go like, "This is how I want the wedding to be," or
and it
this is
doesn't work
how-
out.
Hey,
No, it
you,
doesn't.
especially for the guys,
Doesn't.
Yeah, no, don't.
You've seen a lot of weddings.
Yeah,
What's one thing you can say you picked out in them?
from all the weddings,
Yeah. One thing
you're gonna
that
get
you
a
can say.
headache no matter what. Is what I'm gonna.
So just take it head on.
Yeah, you're gonna take it head on. There's
Yeah,
gonna
take
be
it head on.
trials and the way I see a
Try not
wedding-
to go in too
No.
much into like excessiveness when it comes to spending.
Yeah, because
and
the way
stuff.
I see a wedding is,
but not too strict, you know, where you're basically saying no to everything. So
It's like it's mostly for the families. You're bringing two families together.
exactly.
So when you really think about it, when you look at the bride and the groom,
Yep.
they're sitting there like scared, they're worried, they got that dance, while everyone else is having fun. It's mostly for everyone else.
Exactly.
Right?
Pretty much,
You have your
yeah.
honeymoon after that. You go together, you spend your time.
They say our marriage, their wedding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I know that
It's
those
your marriage,
Yeah,
but it's the
that's
family's
true.
wedding.
Absolutely.
So as long as the wife or the bride isn't stressed out, you try your best, and everyone else has a good time.
She'll
that-
inevitably be stressed, no matter
Yeah.
what, regardless.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's what I'm expecting. I know that's gonna happen. The actual marriage part afterwards, well, there's no one in my life now, so I don't know what to expect. But I do know there's gonna be a lot of sacrifice. There's gonna be a lot of times where you gotta literally gotta sacrifice, whether it's your time, your effort, whatever it is, for the other person, and knowing when it is okay to sacrifice and when are you just sacrificing. Because I know some guys out there, they'll sacrifice and then they end up like a year down the line realizing they're the only one sacrificing something, or the other way around, the wife is sacrificing always constantly. That's a one-sided thing. So knowing that, yes, you do have to sacrifice, but finding that balance. It's all about balance is what I learned. Pretty much all marriages is a balancing act is what I've seen from it. So that's what I take. That's my expectations. Like, how well can you balance it all?
Do you know, I was talking to what's his name, Hamza, the one that's about to get married, and I was actually asking him. I'm like, when you look over there at Heidi, getting married, and at that time you were at the center stage, doing your contract whatsoever,
yeah.
and I was like, what goes through your mind right now? I bet you what's going through my mind is completely different to what's going through your mind. He goes, I'm looking at him, thinking like that's gonna be me.
Exactly.
Thinking like I'm gonna have to repeat those exact words or similar words.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to be sitting there in front of all these people and sign the contract and understand it and so on. I said to him, mate, me right now, what's going through my mind looking at Abdullah Haji is I've been married for this many years.
Yeah.
The contract that he's saying right now is the same contract that I made those years ago.
Yep.
In those 2 or 3 years that I've been married, have I met those goals or not? Have I met that expectation that was set out between me and
Your wife.
the wife?
Yep.
Have I met it or have I not? And why is it taking me so long? How can I try and make sure that I do meet it?
Yep. Yep.
So the expectation before you get married is that that's going to be me. Like, it's all about the show,
process.
the show part, the process, trying to do all of that. And then eventually nobody talks about, okay, what's actually going to happen when you do get married.
Yeah.
The critical stuff, the stuff that actually keeps your marriage together.
You see, before I got married, like the month or 2 months leading up, that's the fourth quarter, the crunch zone. You know, making sure everything's ready, everything's paid for, like all the families are here. Whoever's flying in has come in, being hosted properly. Like you said, getting ready for the day. The day actually comes. It's over. You're still on that hype. You're still on that vibe.
Oh yeah.
Right? The day that is over, first of all stress leaves you. Everything you've been stressing about. Any brother that's out there that's gonna get married, I'll tell you now, all that stress flies like this. Like this. There's times where before you get married, like especially for the guy, it doesn't hit you all the time. But it'll hit you random times. You'll be having a good day at work. You drive home on the car, on the way home.
Yeah.
You drive past and you see a bridal shop.
And that's a trigger.
It's a trigger. You'll see a happy couple walking down.
Yeah.
That's a trigger.
Oh man.
Your heart comes right here. Yeah.
Listen, the whole
goes
week
crazy.
before your wedding,
The week you're gone. That week your heart becomes numb.
you're smiling and everything is, and then 5 minutes later you look at you and you're just sitting there.
Yeah,
with
nah.
a blank expression on your face.
Let me tell you why.
Right.
Let me-
Another
Remember,
world.
that
In a
meme? Remember that
complete
meme?
Yeah, he's laughing with you, right?
Oh,
And then you
bros.
go out, get up, come back 2 minutes later, he's sitting there just
Those
Yeah.
eyeballs.
out of
Completely.
yeah.
Let me tell you why.
Wow.
Let me tell you why about that exactly. I've been to a lot of weddings, my mates' weddings and whatnot, right? And for us boys, we have a ritual. We get together, we chill back the night before or the couple of nights before, like when all the boys come in from interstate, right? You never feel what the groom is going through. So you're there having a good time, having a laugh, whatnot.
Yeah.
Everybody's there for the groom, right?
Yeah.
But that week, especially the boys from over interstate flying in, that was the point where it was like everybody here is here for you in that day. You know what I mean? So I'll be having a laugh with all the brothers, then it'll hit me. This brother here didn't leave his house in Sydney. This brother didn't leave his house from the north side of the town to come and kick it here for any other reason than to chill with you, celebrating the day to come. You know what I mean? So it hits you hard, right? The day comes.
Yeah.
The day happens. Beautiful. As soon as you shake that imam's hand, contract is done. First of all, it's like Mount Everest lifted off your back. Gonskis. You know what I mean? You go for your holiday, you come back. That is when, again, expectations should change. You know what I mean? And the way, for me personally, the way I did it was, I sat my wife down, and we had a chat between us, right? We got married because we chose to get married because we had the same sort of morals, views, and outlook at life, right? But before you got married to me and before I got married to you, you had your life that you were chasing, your ambitions, your dreams, and I had mine, right? But now that we are under the same roof, we are, each other's backbone. What are you trying to achieve? What am I trying to achieve? And how do we get there together? You know what I mean? And I think that really helps in answering that question. Are you fulfilling the agreement? You know what I mean? Because you are there to love and support each other in everything. You know what I mean? Whether it's her ambition to be a successful businesswoman, be a successful, entrepreneur, a better person, a better Muslim, whatever avenue that she wants to take, you're there to support her. And you won't be willing to make those sacrifices or helping her out until you know what it is she's after. And she won't be able to do the same for you until she knows what it is you're after. You know what I mean? So I think it's really important for especially new couples and even long-time couples that haven't had it or need to, hash it out again. And you always revisit these things. So you set goals. And when you have that goal and your wife knows or your spouse knows that that's where you're trying to reach, that's when all the sacrifice comes.
Yeah.
You're willing to make a sacrifice for this person because you see the goal they're chasing or they see the goal you're chasing. So that's how things have changed for me before, during, and after the whole marriage process.
Yeah, that's very key. I really actually believe in sitting down with your partner
100%.
and
It's just
hashing
like
out
if you're
exactly
starting a
what your
business with
goals
somebody.
exactly.
You sit down,
You
you
have
your
to know
meetings.
where you're headed. You have to know.
Not only that, but you have either quarterly, monthly, annual meetings to see, hey, are we still on track?
Yeah.
And if not, what are we doing
Yeah.
to fix it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Marriage is the biggest endeavor that a couple can take.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? it's much more intimate than any business or transaction that you can ever make. You are literally trusting your life with this person.
There's some people that actually think that, one of the expectations they might have is before you get married, you are quite free. You're
Yeah.
free. You're flexible with time, and that's to an extent it's true. And your goals are sort of
Carefree.
carefree. The sky's the limit kind of thing. You're
Yeah.
able to reach whatever goal you want to.
That phrase YOLO.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
because it's your goal,
Yeah.
right? And the only effort that's required is your effort,
Exactly.
and your time is not diminished by having to cater for another person.
Exactly.
So there's that expectation, and that once you get married, those goals gonna have to change, or you're going
voice
to
it at
be
least.
less able to actually achieve those goals. Or your voice is going to be a lot
Exactly.
less. Yeah.
Exactly.
But in reality, when you sit down and hash out, look, these are my goals. This is what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
And your wife does the exact same thing. This is what I want to achieve. You try and strike a balance so that you're it's not sacrifice. It's more compromise and more
Exactly.
about trying to help each other.
Exactly.
No,
No,
and
but
build each other up.
that's what I mean by sacrifice. Like, for example, right now, if there's a car that I want to buy, and because I'm paying all the bills, for example, I need extra help, for example, to save for a car so I can buy it. You know what I mean? So once we put together our family savings, you can't just take that and go do what you want with it. You know what I mean? But when you have that communication and she knows, okay, this is what we're striving for, you guys will make that decision together. You know what I mean? That's in terms of better ways, compromise. You know what I mean? Like, your time, everybody wants to relax. Everybody wants to go out with their friend, grab a coffee, come home to a clean house, whatnot. You know what I mean? But if you know that your wife's got a commitment 3 times a week, those 3 times of the week, you might say, hey, okay, you can go. I'll clean the house. Or I'll cook. You know what I mean? Or that time that, for example, Unleash Potential.
Be honest though, I really want to hear you say that one time. Let's be real. Though.
What?
I'll cook.
I'll say what? Me cook, clean.
Yeah. I want to see you do that one time.
Habib, I cook. I cook.
Okay, how many times you clean the house ever since you got married? And I know it's a short amount of time that you've been married.
Forget about
but
that. There's
I'm
pizza
just saying,
boxes over there.
Let's say
man.
in
It's
the
talking about
1 month
cooking.
that you've been married, because
Yeah.
January's gone.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it.
Yeah, he's thinking about it. Yeah.
No. Okay.
You should be able to
no.
like you should.
No. Look, when I come back from work, I come home before my missus, right? She finishes work an hour or two later than me, right? The days that I come home straight from work with that hour gap, I'll cook dinner. She'll come home, food's ready. Almost every day, out of the 5 days. Cleaning, I'll help her out.
Okay, so
So
the
you
time-
hold wait up. You telling me you cook 5 days a week?
3 out of the
3
5.
days?
Three?
Yeah.
Three.
Bruh.
3 out of the 5.
I know you from the noodle days.
I
the tuna
No,
and-
you've
and-
known that, but listen.
From where you came from?
Yeah. It's
That's a big step up.
no, but it's look, on the weekends, for example, I'll wake up, breakfast is ready. You know what I mean? So you as a person would have to get up yourself at some point. You know what I mean? Your own conscience won't allow you to have somebody else cater to you all the time. You know what I mean? And it all depends on, again, that communication. You know, like, okay, we use this area of my house for unleashed potential. My wife knows that. She'll make sure that everything we need is ready and vacate the house for us.
Yeah.
If I didn't tell her that, we'll have that clash of what's going on. You know what I mean? So it's really key.
Do you guys think that majority of people that are looking to get married have the same expectations that you guys have? Because we have these expectations, and I'm thinking about all the people that I know that are thinking about marriage, and not all of them are on the same wavelength.
Yeah, so there's positive expectations and there's negative ones. And a lot of the time it's reinforced by the people that you hang around with. If you associate yourself or hang around people who basically keep reinforcing that marriage isn't the right way, you yourself are not going to approach it with
The right mindset.
with the right mindset. You're going to approach it cautiously, or you might even not look forward to it.
There's a lot of people.
If you associate with people who want to keep their marriage, who strive hard to try and perfect themselves for their partner, not make their partner perfect, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
and who want to not only keep their marriage but just enjoy their marriage as well. You know, if you associate yourself with people like that, you will start to have a more positive outlook when it comes to marriage. You will actually look forward to it. You'll say, "Man, I want to get married. I'm missing out."
Yeah, but I know someone personal at work he's been with his wife. Well, it's not his wife, but his girlfriend now for almost probably 2 decades, 3 decades.
Yeah.
And they live together. They're pretty much like a married couple, but they're not married. You know what I mean? So there are people over there that they do have those expectations of being together, but the actual fold of marriage, the signing the paper, that whole thing, they do not like. They do not see it as.
I see what you're looking at. I know people that are trying to get married as well, and their expectations or their standards is, I need somebody who can cook, who can clean, who can do these things, right? So the question that was put to me by my mother about my wife, that I put to them now, is, do you love the person, or do you love the qualities of that person, or the characteristics? If this person who's a great chef and whatnot decides tomorrow I'm not going to cook,
Yeah, what then?
what use is it to you? No, you want somebody that can cook and clean, right? This person's a master chef, expert at cleaning. You get married, she decides I'm not going to cook again. What then?
Yeah.
If that's your
You're
reason
gonna
for
end the
getting
marriage
married.
over
It's
that?
You got married for the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
wrong expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So the thing that I tell them to look at is personality, character, maturity. These things you can't teach. These things the person has. Somebody doesn't know how to cook, 2 weeks classes, master chef.
Yeah.
Right. You
Take them to your mother's house.
You're
YouTube.
good. You're good.
Trial and error.
Yeah.
You can teach these things, but you can't teach how to save, how to look out for each other. You know, you can't teach patience. You can't teach all these other attributes, values, morals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't teach these things. So these are things that you should
Or
look at.
it will take a really long time to try and teach them, to the point where it becomes natural. You know what I mean?
No, but the thing is, the reason why I
Because
say
I
you
know
can't
some
teach
people
them.
that start off impatient, and then eventually grow into someone who becomes a lot more patient through the marriage that they go
Yeah.
in.
But if you've chosen somebody for the wrong reasons,
Right. Yeah.
for the wrong reasons,
Yeah. Of course.
that doesn't have all these other things,
Yeah.
how long is it going to take you to teach them?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is not my job to change somebody's daughter, or it's not somebody's daughter to change me.
Mm.
We're here to grow together.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you try and get somebody who's slightly better than you know, and don't try to better them. Get yourself up to that level.
You know, a lot of people, they have this expectation that when they get married, their wife is going to do this for them. Their wife is going to clean for them. Is going to cook for them. You know.
Yeah.
Speaking about the things that you said, sort of like what your mom said to you.
Yeah.
Are you marrying her for her qualities, or
Yeah.
you know, for her as a person?
Yeah.
Or what she's able to do.
Yeah.
So a lot of people focus on what they're able to do for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting married to this person because
She can do this for me, or he can do this for me.
Exactly. You never think about it like, okay, I'm going to get married to this person. This is going to be my responsibility, right? What am I going to bring to the table that's going to either match hers or be better than hers?
Yeah.
And what can I bring to the table that's going to take this family to another level, where we were single and now we're married and we're up here because we're married? You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we hit a new
Exactly.
height by pairing up together.
Exactly.
You know, just like they say, Jordan by himself wasn't great until you see.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
It's like a rally car driver. You need that person next to you.
exactly.
Exactly. bro.
Left
You
two,
need it.
right two.
But then you go through all this trouble, right? You get married. Marriage is not easy. There's a lot of finances involved. So all that time that you've been saving, working, you've chosen this person. But then the standard that you were when you're on your own and the standard where you are together is the same. Is a waste, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If the standards of both of you put together when you get married,
Yeah.
it's still the same as where you were as a single person, unless you are high up there, it is a waste, I reckon.
And so, give me an
So,
example.
for example, right now, a single person, right, where they're at in terms of, you know, ambition, in terms of their religious aspect, in terms of health, in terms of everything, where they're at, has made no improvement as opposed to when they got married.
Or the rate of the improvements.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, like, I think when you get married, like you should be aiming to be improving at a faster rate than you were when you were single. You know what I mean? Because there's two of you now to help each other grow,
That's true.
as opposed to when it was one of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you should be growing at a faster rate.
Yeah, I mean that's look. Every year you should be able to just sit down and assess and be like, you know, we've been married for a year now, or we've been married for 2 years and 3 years. You know, in the European culture they have this anniversary thing.
Yeah.
In our cultures we don't have anniversaries, right? But you can make it so that every anniversary you sit down and you look at your year and you say, this year has passed. How have we grown spiritually? How have we grown in our love? How have we grown together as singles, as a couple?
Yeah.
You know, how have we grown as a unit? You
And
can, as
going
a reflection,
forward, where
and
we're going.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's a way to sort of evaluate whether you have grown or not. And if you haven't, look, there's still more years.
100%.
As long as you are committed to improving.
And I think when people get married, because even though I've only been married a month, sometimes the thought hits me, which is like, okay, if you only think about it as it's just me and my wife now, and okay, if we progress at this minimal rate for the next couple of years, we're okay. No, it shouldn't be. Soon children will come into the picture.
Mm-hmm.
It is your job as the parents to develop this child, and this child is going to go at a very fast rate. You got to be at your A game to pass that down. You know what I mean? Otherwise, your child is just going to be average.
Yeah, that's one thing that really frustrates me.
Exactly.
People having kids when they're not ready to have kids.
When they can't even look after themselves.
Yeah, that frustrates me a lot.
Yeah.
Because that first few years of a kid's life is where most of their personality and everything is developed. That first probably 6-7 years.
So what they see, what they experience,
What
what
they
they
hear.
feel, what
Exactly.
they
They're
hear.
a sponge at that age. That's
Yeah.
all their mannerisms are mostly made from there. And if you've got
Exactly.
parents that aren't the smartest or the brightest or know how to take care of a kid, especially nowadays with information is accessed so easily, they can get information a million and one
We
ways.
as humans are also creatures of habit.
Mm-hmm.
It's best to get to that habit now, so then when that child comes in, it's just another day for you.
Kids,
You know what I mean?
kids don't do what you say, they do what you do.
I want to ask you guys a question. 3 of us here sitting married, alhamdulillah, single brother. Before you guys got married, a lot of people would offer you advice of all kinds. Some good, some that you see come to life, and some not yet, and some that you're just like, this is bogus. What are some that has come to life, some that you completely disregard, some you haven't seen yet? Anything that comes to mind?
I'll give you 2.
Okay.
So the first one, because I've grown up in different households. When I say grown up, I mean like I've lived for a period of time enough to experience.
Yeah.
You know.
Period of time being years?
Yeah, about
Year or
6
2?
months to a year, roughly. You
Yeah.
know. So at my parents' house, I got to see my parents' marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I moved out, I got to see my brother's marriage. And then I moved out and I saw my auntie's marriage. And also nearby, she was living to my other auntie, so I got to see their marriage on a regular basis. And wallahi, one key advice that I had was salah. If you wake up, your prayers.
Yeah.
You maintain your 5 daily prayers.
Yeah.
And Allah will make sure that your marriage is maintained.
The advice, I remember one of the good advices that I've got from an old man. Told me to be patient.
From your old man or
An old man. Yeah. Of course, I've got advice from an old man, but an old man told me,
Be patient, yeah?
be patient.
That's key.
Be patient with the good. Be patient with the bad. Be patient with time. Be patient in all aspects of marriage. Be patient.
I think that's where I get tested the most.
Yeah, your patience really gets tested
I get tested.
daily. bro.
Don't get me wrong, I'm a guy with a lot of patience. But hey, listen,
I'm sorry.
I've got a lot of patience. I'm a very patient man. But sometimes I just get triggered.
You know what?
That
To
means
be
you're not
honest,
patient.
we've seen
No.
changes. No.
My patience gets
I'm a patient man, but every once in a while, I'll go, listen, it's not patient.
once in a while, not once every.
Once in a while is a daily, man. Once or
You
twice
know what?
a day.
So for me,
I stand by you,
go off
Haji.
once a day at least.
I stand by him. I stand
Here's
by
my
him.
question.
He's
Have you
patient.
gone off today already?
sometimes.
Twice?
That's a you.
Twice.
He's about to go off at you now.
see? That's 3 now. We count 3.
Okay. No, but look, it's good to know where you're lacking.
Yeah.
And I know Not to the extent that you guys try to make it out seem that I've got anger management problems and whatnot, but I could be better at my patient. Let's just leave it at that.
No, you've changed, bro.
Alhamdulillah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Alhamdulillah.
Since before when you was single,
Alhamdulillah.
since what I've noticed now,
Mm.
since why you married, mashallah, man,
Alhamdulillah.
you changed a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
As in your patience.
Yeah. I've
Give you up to that
I've
one,
just
mate.
mastered one thing. When you flash it, just stay silent.
Yeah.
I find that works.
Bro, arguments are fine anyway. Even if you get into an argument with your wife, that's one advice actually I received was, if the best argument you can have is with your wife.
Yeah.
Why? Because afterwards you can get back together and you make up and you're all good.
Nice.
You have an argument with a mate, how are you gonna get back together? And try
See
and
you
work it
later,
out. You gotta take him out to lunch,
Nah,
date, whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Can't punch your wife.
Don't you have argument? Well, what?
Yeah. Sometimes you get so angry you want to punch someone.
Yeah.
Arguing with your wife is better than. Come on now.
Once Jabbar gets married, I think we gotta call him out. Hey, you're angry, yeah. Come and punch us.
Oh, bro, I'm gonna be fighting you. I'm gonna be calling you guys. We
Bro,
had an
for
argument.
your
I'm
wedding,
coming
I'm
to your
getting-
house. Grab this.
For your wedding, I'm getting you a punching bag. That's
I
Yeah.
what.
already got
Yeah,
one.
we
have
That's
to-
what I'm
No,
doing.
no.
A kicking bag. I need
Yeah, we'll get them both. We'll get them both.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Both are taken care of.
But actually, the advice I got
Yeah.
from I'm single, but the advice I got is communication. Communicate. The specific advice I got is communication is the glue in your marriage. So no matter what problem or issue or whatever it is that you need to solve within a marriage,
Mm.
the only way to do it is to talk to your
Mm.
wife or to talk about it.
Bro, you
Yeah.
go through a period of time where your wife will think you're a mind reader, and she basically expects you to understand what's going on without actually telling you. And you yourself, you as a male, do not understand that.
Yeah.
And
When you fail to understand that,
yeah, and then your wife will go through a period of time where she expects you to like say things that are not direct enough for her to sort of read between the lines.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'll say something that's direct and you actually mean it,
yeah.
but she'll start to read between the
Between
lines.
and then something else is out
Yeah,
there.
your communication is just out of whack. So until you get that in
Yeah.
tune with each other,
Yeah.
yeah, it takes a while. But once you do get it,
Yeah.
and once you're able to sit down and actually talk things out,
Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah.
beautiful.
I've got two.
Mm.
One was given to me by you. God knows where you got it from, but it works like a miracle.
Okay.
And this was before I got married, and I think I was telling you one day. I was during my furniture shopping stage,
Mm.
and obviously, as you guys know, you disagree on this color, that couch. Inevitably, it's her choice, right? I didn't know that. That's where you came in, and the advice that you told me was, look, when you ever have an argument, don't point fingers. Your fault, my fault, her fault, his fault.
Yeah, you blame
the
each
two
other, and you're basically you're in
You
the
know what I
same
mean?
situation. Nothing
Exactly.
changes.
So it should be me and you versus the problem.
Yeah.
That's right.
The minute I changed my mindset to that, arguments were solved a lot more easy. She'll be going off about something. Clearly, I'm in the wrong. I use it to my advantage. It's true. I did it. So what? The problem's there. Let's fix it. You know what I mean?
I like that.
It works.
I like that.
It works.
It's
I like
actually
that.
a lot
It
better
works.
than the
I
other
like
one
that.
where they say pick your battles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that one a lot.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, she's gonna win a lot of arguments. Pick your battles.
Mm.
But that's just throwing a whole wrench in that sort of
Yeah.
argument.
Yeah,
Don't
'cause
even
it's-
see it as a battle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not a battle.
Exactly.
Well, it's not a battle against each other.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a lot of people
Yeah,
see.
it's
it
the
as.
problem.
You're allies, or you're both on the same
Yeah.
side.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's good that you actually mentioned about how as soon as you change your mindset,
Yeah.
because I heard this somewhere. I can't even remember where I heard it, but it goes something like it's not the movement of the clock that produces the newness of life. It's the movement of your mind.
Yeah.
And by what they mean by the movement of the mind is your perspective, your
Yeah.
attitude, your
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why we did thought process.
That's the first
That's
episode.
the first one.
And I humbly believe that if we change this podcast to
Yeah.
any other name, it would
Yeah.
be thought process.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Yeah, pretty
Bro,
much, bro.
we cover it so much.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
man.
It's tied to everything in life,
It's tied to everything.
not just topics. Everything in life.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely, bro. Definitely.
You guys so quiet, homie, man.
Me,
Yeah.
quiet today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
a long. It's been a long day, man.
Camera shy. Camera shy.
No, I'm not camera shy. Definitely not camera shy, but it's been a long day, mate. It's pretty hot out there today,
If you were
so
to
you
give
know.
advice
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
to a single brother
Yeah.
who's about to get married, who's about to take on this massive
Undertaking.
what would you give him? What advice would you pass on? Besides the one that you got as patience,
Yeah, yeah.
if you were to come up with something.
You know, funny thing is, this Friday,
Yeah.
I just went past. I was at Jum'ah and Kurm,
Mm.
and they were talking about marriage and stuff. And I can't remember exactly what he said because I was, you know, sometimes in Jum'ah you
Days off,
half
we know. Yeah.
paying attention. And I came a bit late, and he was talking about marriage. Then he was saying, he was giving some great advice, man. But I only remember the few things I was giving.
Mm.
He was saying, before you get married, you know how you say, I want to get married when I'm what, 25, you know,
Yeah.
26? He said, add another 3 years to that.
Why?
You get where I'm coming from? Because he
I get
said,
where he's coming from. I get
Abdi,
exactly where
Abdi.
he's coming from.
Why?
Because a lot of people, when they say, I want to get married at 25, when they become 25 is when they start doing the things they need to do to be
Yeah.
ready for marriage.
Exactly.
Which then takes a few more years.
That's actually true.
Exactly.
that's amazing.
We're on the same
I've
wavelength.
I've never heard this before,
Yeah.
but I always, those people that
It
know
opened
me,
my eyes when
Yeah.
I was talking
always,
about
I always say
Pretty
by
sure you-
22, 23, I want to be married.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Got
but you
married
don't
at
start
25.
the.
There you go.
I started a few years after.
3 years, huh?
You know what I mean? I
You
swear.
must listen to the same khutbah then.
I've
eh?
never heard of
Hey.
but I actually get
Yeah,
what you
that's
mean.
one
you know what I
advice.
mean?
Second advice is, he was saying, I wouldn't give it to a person, but to a family. Like he was saying, as Muslims
Mm.
in Islam, you know,
Mm.
if someone came up to me, wants to marry my daughter or my son,
Yeah.
um, he said,
Don't make it difficult.
don't make it difficult. First, look at his deen,
His religion. Yeah.
his character,
If you're happy with it too,
his
good.
the family they come from,
Yeah.
and his social status or something like that. He was
Yeah.
saying.
But choose
I
deen.
I was thinking, wow, man,
Yeah.
that's deep, eh? Normally, and he was saying these days, like,
It's all
Um,
about beauty.
people-
It's about
Beauty,
it's
money,
like beauty,
job.
money. You marry my daughter, you gotta, you gotta
Yeah.
give this
This much, yeah.
much meher.
Yeah.
You gotta have this sort of wedding, this
Yeah.
that.
it's
said
competing
that's-
competing with the
He said,
Joneses.
what happens
Yeah.
is now he said everyone's putting culture before the religion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because our culture
Yeah.
is very similar. You gotta
Yeah.
have a big lavish wedding,
Yeah.
yada yada, so on and so forth. But the deen and the religion says, make it simple.
Yeah.
The more
The
simple,
simpler, the more blessed.
the more blessing there
Yeah.
is. Because he was saying, like, only advice I'll give to the brothers and the sisters out there, when you're getting married, try to make your marriage, like the ceremony and all that,
As Islamic.
Islamic
It's
and as simple as possible.
Simple. Don't overdo
Because,
it.
say for example, you had a wedding, so on and so forth. I had a wedding, all that shebang,
Yeah.
all in one hit. He said, when you have the wedding and the music and all that, this, that, he said, you're pretty much starting your life in haram because
You're
everyone's coming down
And you're
and having
responsible.
enjoying themselves, and then you're for that haram between the girl and the boy.
You're
Yeah,
responsible
you're
for it.
You're
starting-
responsible
you're
for it.
starting off on the
So
wrong
you're starting
foot.
your life
Yeah.
not
Not
a bad
only
way.
with your sins,
that's
but you're
why he
taking
said-
300 people's sins.
Exactly, but and he
Yeah.
said that's why he said there's a lot of high,
Mm.
high divorce rates and
Yeah.
so on and
Yeah.
so forth. So my advice is there. If you want to get married by 25, add a couple more years to it. Figure out what you're going to do in your life, so on and so forth, reach your
Yeah.
goals.
Mm. when
And number
you do
two,
get married.
Make it simple,
Yeah.
as simple as
That's
possible.
perfect.
You know?
advice. I actually like
Yeah.
that. Man.
If I was to give advice to a brother or a sister who's thinking of getting married, especially when they hit their early 20s, mid 20s, and they want to get married, for me, I think marriage is one of the greatest accomplishments in someone's life. I mean, like it's a big thing. That is, you're building the foundation of generations to come.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And may God bless us all with many generations. The one advice is, do not hesitate. Jump in head forward. Allah will help you through it.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
To think of it as a big task, it's scary. It's overwhelming. But dive in.
Mm.
You'll come out on the other side safe. And much better than you are, trust me.
If I was to give advice, I would give advice to the ones who are already married or newly married.
Yeah.
And that would be to say to them that consider yourself, whether you're the female or the male, consider yourself as the MVP, the most valuable player in that unit,
Yeah.
the most valuable player in that relationship.
Yeah.
not in a pride or
Pride, yeah.
arrogant kind of way, but
Hard
in a more
work and
I
dedication.
have to be more hardworking.
Yeah.
I have to serve more. I have to do more in order to get this unit to a different level.
Yeah.
You understand? That's not to say you don't ask for help.
Yeah.
You can ask for help. But it's just like, I'll bring that sports analogy.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, he is the MVP of that team. Now, he needs the team to play the game.
Yeah.
And each individual person
Let's go do their
is
part.
going to do their part.
Yeah.
But he is expected to perform at a higher level
Yeah.
and produce more scores.
Yeah.
When he's on the team and off the team, there's a huge difference. Likewise, if you consider yourself as the most MVP player or MVP person on that team, or on that unit, in that
You
relationship,
gotta bring in the work.
you're gonna bring it. You're gonna bring it 120%, and you're gonna force this marriage to go to higher levels. And you yourself are gonna enjoy it
Yeah.
because you'll see the fruits of your labor.
Yeah. Definitely.
That would be my advice.
Definitely.
That's what I'm trying to
That's
improve
good
on right
advice.
now.
And for Jabbar will say to be continued.
Yeah.
Oh, my advice.
Yeah.
My advice
Yeah.
actually links to Elmi's one.
Yeah.
He said plan a few extra years
Yeah.
on top of it. Mine will be, if you're thinking about getting married, work on yourself. So the way I'll say it is, anything that you want your wife to do or your husband to do or you expect in marriage, throw that back at yourself. You know, if you want your wife to cook, when's the last time you got up and cook? You want your wife to wake up, when's the last time you've done all of these things? If the answer is, I haven't done it, I'm not good at it, work on that. That will lead you towards marriage or a good marriage.
I think Jabbar is trying to get a little.
He's getting there.
He's getting there.
That is
He-
heavy, man.
Jabbar,
Hit up Jabbar through
Jabbar.
UPP.
Yeah.
Jabbar,
Making
Jabbar,
announcements,
potential.
Jabbar.
All I gotta say,
It's
anyone
2019,
replies,
man.
Hit us up on the
2019.
Gmail. We
anyone replies is these guys, not me.
No. We're taking applications. We'll sift through the
we'll
panel
vet them.
and then we'll send them through.
That's it.
Where's the Halim was that? Oh man.
But yeah, no. Look, man, I think we've covered the topic nice in depth, in detail
I think we covered half the topic.
for today. In depth, in detail.
I'm keen to see the females' expectations.
That's the other half.
From
We
their point of
definitely
view.
will be having that. We'll have
I reckon we should set that up somehow.
we'll have
We'll work on that.
probably 3v3. And we can have a very fire discussion
Yeah.
with a female perspective and how things look from the other side, because there's always two sides to the coin.
Absolutely, yeah.
But hey, man, let's jump to a more light-hearted segment, our game segment.
So you got a question for the game, or?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
shoot.
So, would you rather have the ability to pause time for 20 seconds, right? Or be able to reverse one decision that you make daily after seeing the consequence?
Daily. So 20 seconds a day, you got to pause.
Yep.
So how many
Or
times can you do
rewind.
each one?
So you got one, whichever one you choose, you only get one per day. So you can pause time for 20 seconds per day.
I don't think there's any competition. I'll take the reverse your decision, man.
Yeah.
Because if I make a decision and I'm not happy with the outcome, I can change it back. You know what I mean? If I decide to invest in this business today, and I know that, say, for example, what is something you can invest in that you can get the answer straight away? Forex trading, for example, exchange trading, whatever it is.
But you're looking at it from like a point of view of it benefiting you. What about, for example, you doing, like, say, for example, you're crossing the road or something like that. You see something happen, potentially save your life, save someone else's life. That extra 20 seconds where you get to pause it. You never know.
I'm nobody's guardian angel,
The
man.
thing, nah.
if it was meant to be, it was meant to be.
You can save a lot of lives.
How
guys.
many times am I in a situation where I can save somebody's life today?
Sometimes you need a breather and you can't stop. Say you're in a meeting, for example.
Yeah.
A very important meeting.
Yeah.
And you really need to just pause. Pause 20 seconds.
I don't
Reverse
really-
my
but-
decision. Don't go to the meeting.
No, but you have to see.
But here's the thing: why do you need to
Nah.
pause? To make a point or to take some information in?
Pause.
make a
Regardless,
decision.
regardless.
Pausing can save your life.
How?
Right. I'll give you an example.
Yeah. There's
Say,
a
for
pause.
example, I come late from home. I'm out with the boys or out from work. Did some overtime. Come home late.
Yeah.
Wife comes, oh, yeah, you called me, yeah. Boom, pause. 20 seconds, go in the bed, change my clothes, come back. She's still going off. Press play. She stops. What's going on? I'm like, hey, who you talking to? Why are you talking to the door, man? She must be back on her medication again. Who knows, bro?
What the hell?
You know,
Why not just reverse the decision of coming home at that time? Come home a little bit later.
nah, bro.
No, but then you don't get the enjoyment that you had.
His wife is going off. What enjoyment does he come home a little later instead of coming home at the time?
Just pause it 20 seconds.
20 seconds,
but-
bro.
You got.
He's
but the
right.
thing is,
Pause
you
it
got,
20 seconds. You go in. You're good.
but that one, actually for the saving.
When did you
one,
get in? 2 hours ago. You're good. See?
Okay, how about this, right? She pulls into the driveway.
That's,
me-
that's what I'll choose. 20
For
seconds.
me,
bro.
it's the reverse
It's the
decision.
decision. Yeah,
Decision.
it's the
Yeah.
decision. The 20 seconds is 20 seconds. It's not that long.
Honestly, I'll just accept all the decisions that I've done, whether it's a good consequence or a bad
It's a-
consequence.
But take a
I-
20-second
but you
breather.
gotta-
I'll take the 20 second
You get a
any day
free
because the
risk
20
of doing
second pause. You're not rewinding your life. You're not doing anything. You're not reassessing it or whatever. You're just pausing it so that you can think about what you want to do, and then just go ahead and do it.
But then what if you hit that moment? I wish I could do something different. Well, no, you can.
No, but it helps you grow as a person
Yeah, but
when
then
you go through those moments.
I see
Fair
it
enough.
as, I see it as you have a free decision without any consequences every day. I can make a choice every day, whether it's the biggest risk, whether it could fail greatly, whatever the chances are. I have that I
And
can
you're
make,
still accepting
knowing that I
your
can
consequences of everything else.
undo it. You know what I mean? It's only one decision.
2 for 2 anyways. These
It's
guys
2
are
for 2,
hard-headed,
man.
stubborn.
2 for 2.
Stubborn people, stubborn.
You can
Get outta
pause
here,
20
bro.
seconds while you do
It's not stubborn. Like I see your valid points. I see it. Okay. I
Which are more
understand.
valid than the 20 seconds.
I believe that 20 seconds. There's going to be a lot
in
of
your
times you
your
pause.
opinion, okay? In your opinion. In
I-
my opinion, I feel like
So
the
right now, I would have just
20%.
changed this whole little exchange and be like, listen, let's just skip that question.
I would have paused for 20 seconds, slap both of you.
I would rewind.
Yeah.
We're good.
You got us
Yeah,
there.
we're good.
You got us there quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what the hell hit me?
What the hell hit you? I
If
think
you
I'm going to
said- if you
choose the
said
20
a
seconds.
minute,
now.
If you said a minute, that would be a minute. 20 seconds?
Yeah.
Who says in 20 seconds?
No, but that's the beauty of the question, though.
I know.
Well, okay,
I
in
think it
general,
would-
the
I think
pause
it
or
would
the
have been-
rewind feature, which one? That's like click, yeah? Click,
Pretty
movie.
much. Yeah,
The pause or the rewind feature, which one would you accept?
But here's the thing.
Rewind, because
Think-
pause doesn't let
yeah,
you edit.
Think about this, right? You see an accident happening.
Man,
You see an accident happening. It's halfway through. The guy's halfway hit or whatever it is. You can pause it and then go and help out. But what's ever already done is done. You can never fix that.
Or just
Rather than rewinding it and fixing the whole situation.
No, you would
Because
pause.
there's times where you said I'll pause 20 seconds, but how many times do you think you will pause? 20 seconds will go by and there's nothing you can do because you don't have enough time.
Just cut the time. Cut the 20 seconds out. You
If
pause. Go call the bring the ambulance faster. Whatever help they need.
from where?
But one
20
guy's already
seconds.
run over. You pause. That guy run over.
I said cut the time. Don't worry
Oh,
about 20
cut the
seconds.
time. Okay, I get what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Look, we can go on and on about this 2v2 all day, but I think we'll wrap up for the day. It's been a great discussion. Make sure you guys follow on YouTube, Instagram, Apple Podcasts.
Links are in the description,
That's it.
up on the screen.
Leave us
Share
a
it,
comment.
follow it.
yeah,
Would like to hear your feedback.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Most
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
share and follow and like and
Subscribe.
give us
See
feedback.
you're
That's-
updated to every
Yeah.
week's new
Get your
episode.
friends cuffed. Share the video.
But thank you guys for tuning in, man. Stay tuned.
That's it.
Peace.